last but not least, we have the last presentation. And so our last presentation will be made by Dr. Fabio Coppola, that is a researcher in artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, and criminal law at the Law School of the University of Salerno. He held positions as visiting scholar and researcher at the University of Cambridge, Oxford, and Coventry, and is currently a visiting scholar at Manchester Law School with us. Fabio is the author of numerous publications in scientific journals, both in English and Italian. His presentation is entitled Possible Use of the Metaverse in the Prevention of Corporate Crimes. So Fabio will just put the presentation on.
Okay, hello everybody. I go straight to the point because I guess in a minute the university will be closed, and I don't want to keep you from your dinner and social activities. So let's start by saying that, of course, the last 30 years could be referred as the era of compliance. We had several legislations, regulations in US, UK, and Italy, just with a common approach, which is involving corporations within the prevention of corporate crime through self-regulation. What was the approach of this legislation? I mean, they in England, I could say in Italy and also in Spain, the approach was towards an encouraged self-regulation, which means at least three things. The first thing, especially in Italy, meant the creation of a catalog of corporate crimes that could be referred to a corporation, directly to a corporation. This is the Italian approach on corporate crime. Then we also have, I guess it's quite time, then we also have corporation free to choose whether or not adopt compliance programs. But if they do adopt another weight, that's the problem, another weight, compliance program, they cannot be, the corporation cannot be punished in case a corporate crime has been committed, either from a representative or someone just working for the corporation, an employee. And also the Bribery Act 2010 in UK opens to a similar approach when in section 7 you can read it is a defense for a corporation to prove that corporation had in place adequate, again, same term, procedures designed to prevent persons associated with the corporation from undertaking such a conduct which means crimes. Let's go to the problem. The problem is the adequacy test into which we have evaluate compliance program, because as you can imagine, is a test made on a case-by-case evaluation by prosecutors or judges. But this brings two things: a probatio diabolica, which means company need to prove that they did anything they could, everything they could to prevent the crime. This is a very hard burden of proof on companies, but also it is sometimes a human bias in which judges are more inclined to think that if a crime has occurred, therefore the compliance program was ineffective. It's a simplistic way maybe, but it's humanly comprehensible. And also it creates uncertainty, because companies cannot say whether their effort spending money through compliance program will be awarded without any complicity, conviction with the crime. That also make company not willing to invest in compliance program, of course. What's the AI role to this problem, within this problem? The first role of AI, its capability of enhancing the crime risk assessment. I didn't talk about that, but when setting a compliance program, a corporation shall assess its own risk in its own environment. For example, if a corporation works mainly with public officer, of course, it will face corrupt-related risk of crimes. On the other hand, if the corporation works mainly in the betting sector, the main problem would be money laundering. And we could digitizing this procedure, I mean, assessing the risk and also placing red flags automatically for some actions, and sometimes stop the action before it take place, just digitizing procedures. For example, in terms of a payment, we can block a payment that's not fair relating to our compliance program. But also AI can predict, in my perspective, the adequacy of the compliance program. I'm not trying to push some Minority Report idea. I don't know if some of you saw that beautiful movie where people were arrested just on the solely intention of committing a crime, which was predicted by what today we call an AI. My approach, I would just say it's a good vibes only approach, which means it can only bring benefit. That's my idea, which is very simple, actually. I would use the metaverse as a digital twin of the real world, just to test the compliance program, whether it is effective or not. And if it is effective and we have a green light on the compliance program, of course, prosecutor and judge shall consider the effort made by the company within the compliance program adequate. That means, especially in Italy, corporations should not be prosecuted or convicted for that crime, because if a crime occurs, it means that the crime was unpredictable. So no preventive measure could be taken at the moment of the compliance program was set. And the idea of running this test is digitizing in the metaverse as a digital twin the corporation environment, recreating its environment and its functioning, and also the measures within the compliance program. The second step, we shall put within this environment, this digital environment, a la The Sims, yes. I don't know if some of you played the game in the past. We recreate just this simulating life of the corporation within the metaverse, and then we push into the metaverse the situational risk within corporate crime. In this job, we need the help of statistical data and, of course, criminologists, just to digitizing the situation risk behind each corporate crime. Then we mix those data within the metaverse, and we see in this representation whether the compliance program is effective or not. If it is so, green light, so no punishment for corporation. If it's not adequate, if the result is negative, remember the good vibes only approach. So it does not mean automatically the conviction for corporation, because a crime has not been committed yet. So the corporation still has time to improve its own environment, its own compliance program to get a better result. And of course, this approach is challenging. It means working with a lot of data it means some very, very huge challenge, of course. But in my opinion, we cannot change the fact that we are already moving to a digital world in much more aspects. So we can take the best of it and we can work just to create AI tools, hopefully to improve our preventing system. Thank you very much. If you wanna share some comments, I also give you my email and previous publication on the topic. Thank you.
So thank you very much, Fabio, for highlighting the issues that lie at the intersections of technological tools and compliance programs, whose efficacy is indeed subject to a draconian burden proof. And thank you for suggesting a way in which AI may assess the adequacy of compliance programs that in a way evokes, I think, the idea of having an AI that will be an evaluator, a judge. And I like the fact that we conclude, as we started, with an idea that is at the same time stimulating utopia and controversial dystopia. So thank you very much for everybody, and thank you for staying with us for all the time. We don't have actually the time for the question and answer time. Very sorry for that, because it's 7 p.m. in London, and this is summertime. University has to close. So thank you again. Thank you, everybody. The video recording, and you are free to contact our fantastic panelists. Thank you very much.